Hello!
Ahoy!
I think I went a bit too aggressive with my hello there.
No, I
I'm
thought
excited.
it was fine.
I'm excited. I've not seen you for a while. Or spoke to you for a while.
It caused
Still not
me.
seen you.
It caused me to underplay my ahoy, so I think it balanced out.
Okay, cool. So an aggressive hello and underplayed ahoy is how we start episode 9 of Bottom of the Stream. Season 3, episode 9. How's things?
Good, glorious, glorious day today.
Beautiful. It's boiling in here.
Yeah,
This stream boat's a bit warm tonight.
yeah. It's pretty warm in the playroom as well.
Yeah, I bet.
I've just gone and shut all the doors and windows to obviously lessen sound, but
Yeah.
cried a single tear at each window.
That's the trouble with audio recording. You can't have any outside noises.
No,
And it's prime bird song hour.
that's it. I was closing the doors on the beautiful bird sound.
Maybe we should just have it playing in the background all the way through. It'd be quite nice.
But you'd go and find it from an internet library, though, wouldn't you? You wouldn't actually record live birds.
Just live bird sound through the mic.
Yeah.
That'd be quite funny. Have been up to anything interesting to talk about?
What has been going on lockdown? Just working hard. Looking after the children. Nothing too exciting, really.
Is that the hard work, looking after the children?
Yeah.
God, miss your kids.
Sometimes.
Can't wait to see your kids again.
Paddling pool out today.
Yeah?
Been for a bit of a swim.
Excellent. You didn't decide to drive to a beach like a bunch of other morons did.
No.
Good.
I think going 2 hours in any direction to a beach is not my idea of fun, to be honest.
Especially stuck in a car in this weather. No, thank you.
No.
Thank you.
Stuff
Bad
for
enough.
beach.
It was bad enough going to work. We played bingo at lunchtime today out in the sun. That was quite nice, didn't we?
Okay.
Right, shall I run through the socials quickly before we get started? So if you're enjoying what you're hearing so far, follow us on Twitter. It is at BOTS_podcast. Instagram is the same, at BOTS_podcast. The website is bottomofthestream.com, where you will find every episode we've ever recorded and all 3 seasons' current stream tables. And you can also check us out on Patreon, where we will give you some cool free merch, some extra bonus episodes, so early access to episodes. I never mentioned the early access. That's probably the one main thing we give away on Patreon. They come out a day earlier on there, so we should probably mention that.
It's true.
Yeah, it's quite cheap. It's a couple of quid a month at the most, and we'll give you loads of stuff. We'll just generally get to know you.
Yeah, exactly. If you can't do that, then please leave us a review on Podchaser or on Apple Podcasts.
Yes, because that
we
helps.
really appreciate them.
We do, and it's nice to read them. It's really nice to get them. Right, I've got a bumper week of news. Are you ready?
Sure am, Adam.
Are you sitting comfortably?
Yeah.
Then I shall begin. First thing I'm going to mention is, you remember Netflix stopped broadcasting at full quality?
Yes.
They've started again.
Oh, I thought so.
So they did that to make sure that the internet would cope, and the internet coped perfectly during lockdown. There was no reported issues at all. And so Netflix have gone, well, screw it then, we'll just put our quality back up. And they have. Which makes sense when you think about it, because there wasn't suddenly an influx of more people using the internet.
Sure.
They were just using it in a different place. So instead of using it at work, they were using it at home.
At different times. That,
Yeah, it wasn't like there was 1 million more people suddenly turned the internet on. So yeah, it coped, and Netflix is now back at full streaming quality.
And joking aside, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
No, you couldn't.
It's
I don't care what anybody says. You couldn't. Unless you're like a video producer and you can see these things with your own eyes.
Hit me more with your news truncheon.
What shall we go for next? Magic for Humans.
It's back.
Remember, it's back. Season 3 is now available on Netflix. Did you watch that, didn't you?
Not all of them, but quite a few of them.
I watched the first episode of the 3rd season. It's all right. I don't know. There's something about him that I just don't get.
He is a bit distant, isn't he?
Yeah, there's something there that's not quite.
But...
It doesn't quite work for me.
He doesn't necessarily pop through the screen at you, does he? Charisma wise, although some of the tricks are obviously amazing.
Yeah,
but yeah, I agree.
It's definitely worth checking out. It's fun. It's a fun show, and it's a good little magic show if you like magic. Talking of also now streaming, the final season of Schitt's Creek is now streaming. I have finished it all. I think I mentioned I'd finished it all before it started streaming on Netflix. How are you doing with Schitt's Creek? Are you still watching it? Have you given up? What you working on?
We have redoubled down and given it a try. I think I can't remember if I said it. It's kind of merged into one. I can't remember if I had this conversation with you on podcast or off podcast, but started to watch it quite a few months ago and got about 5 or 6 episodes in, and for whatever reason, just never went back to it. It didn't quite catch on, but everyone is absolutely raving about it. So we're like, oh, God, let's give this another go. And I think we're like 3 episodes into season 3.
Oh, really? Wow, you've flown through it.
It's really sweet. It's just starting to get, now that they're settled in the town and built their relationships, it's just starting to sort of shine through a bit.
Once they start to develop the characters a bit, it really hits. I love it. I think it's one of the best sitcoms I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I'll put it up there. It's brilliant.
Dan Levy is awesome.
He's a genius. He's an absolute genius. Talking of Schitt's Creek, there's also a documentary that's launched on Netflix called Best Wishes, Warmest Regards, which is it follows the cast and the crew through the final season. So it starts on the first day of filming and finishes on the last day of filming.
Oh, cool.
And it's really nice. It's emotional. Dan Levy pretty much cries in every single scene. But it's really nice. It's worth watching. It's only on for 40 minutes, 45 minutes probably. Yeah, it's good. It's worth checking out. I watched it on Saturday. Yeah, I got up Saturday morning and watched it. It was really good. That's it for new things streaming. Do you want to hear about some things that are coming soon?
Yes, please.
Earlier today, Netflix released the trailer for 13 Reasons Why, the final season. The trailer's pretty good. I quite like how they've managed to carry this show that was a one-hit wonder, one-season wonder, and managed to get 4 or 5 seasons out of it.
Yeah, especially...
I'm quite looking forward to that final season now.
Especially because that's not really Netflix's MO, is it?
No, not at all.
There's not many shows that make it past 3 seasons on Netflix.
No, not at all. So that's coming on June the 5th. So that's quite soon. Coming in July is Umbrella Academy Season 2. Did you watch that?
Never finished it.
I didn't either. I gave up on it. I couldn't get into it.
Watched 2 or 3. 2, maybe just 2.
That's coming back on July the 31st. There's a trailer out for that as well now. It never really hit with me. I couldn't get on board with it really.
You can't be fair to them. I think we might have mentioned this before, but they're still churning out. They're not holding anything back, given they're sort of shut down in production, aren't they?
Not at all. They're obviously very confident in what they've got. Because obviously they're going to run out. You'd think they'd run out of stuff at some point. Because they've not filmed now for like 3 months.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a while before they do start filming stuff again. So they've obviously got a good slate of stuff coming, which leads me quite nicely into my next piece of news. We're getting quite good at this. We're getting quite slick. I've got a list of some of the films that are coming in June.
Love a good list.
They're not Netflix originals. These are all like proper release films.
Acquisition
things they've purchased and are putting on. Some have been on before. Some are debuting. Do you want to hear this list?
Oh, I do. Yeah, go for it.
I want you to react to them as we go through.
Okay.
Top of the list is Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again.
Wow.
All these are coming in June, by the way. Hereditary.
I don't know what that is. Sorry.
I've not seen, but I've heard it's really good. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
Okay, cool.
Is that the latest one?
I believe so.
The Disaster Artist is coming. That's a fucking brilliant film.
Oh, that's cool.
A really good film. I went to the cinema to see that. It's really, really good. James Franco.
Yeah.
No Country for Old Men. Not so good.
I don't really... It's beloved by critics, isn't it?
Yeah,
I've seen it once, so I didn't really click with it,
no,
I must say.
Thought it was boring. Jack Reacher, Never Go Back.
Okay, I've seen the first one.
I've never seen a Jack Reacher film.
I've read a lot of the books. I know everyone moans about it, but yeah, Tom Cruise does not fit the profile.
Angus Fung's and Perfect Snogging.
Right.
No idea. Sounds fun. Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol.
I get mixed up with which ones I've seen and which one I haven't. I think I've seen that one.
That's from 2011.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've seen that one.
365 Days. Don't know what that is. It's from 2020, so it might be a... It said this list is not Netflix original, so it might just be something they've acquired that should have come out of the cinema maybe and hasn't. Don't know. I'll look it up. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Good film.
Classic.
Trippy.
You're going to really enjoy this one. The Big Lebowski's coming back.
Oh, it's back.
Yes. It's not been left that long.
No, because we talked about this in remember the first bonus episode we ever did, and it was, you're right. It's probably only been gone for 4-6 months, something like that.
If that. Scarface.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I've not seen that in a long time, so that'd be good.
Yeah, same.
Being John Malkovich.
I've not seen it for a long time, but I remember loving it.
Yeah, it's a great film. I really enjoy that
when it came out.
Billy Madison.
I mean, on the curve of Sandler, that's probably one of the better ones.
95, that is crazy. The Karate Kid, the original.
Oh, nice.
There's a lot of good stuff coming to Netflix in June.
Wax on, wax off.
More Rats.
Brilliant, love it.
Kevin Smith, quite apt for today's episode.
He's written a sequel.
To More Rats?
Yep, More Rats 2. Really? Yeah.
Oh, amazing. That's interesting. Dreamgirls?
It's got some good tunes there.
I've never seen it. I wouldn't have a clue.
No, I haven't either.
The Holiday, also quite apt for this week's episode.
Well, I suppose so. I mean, I was
similar
going to
name.
say, it's not really apt for the time of year. Isn't that a Christmas movie?
I don't know, to be honest.
I'm pretty sure it is.
No idea. Dolly Parton, Here I Am. I'm sure you'll be well up for that one.
Sign me up.
I presume that's a documentary. The Addams Family, the newest one from 2019, the animated one.
Okay, cool. I'll check that out.
I went to the cinema to see it. It's quite good. I quite enjoyed it. Hotel Transylvania 3, Summer Vacation.
They're going back slightly. They're two underrated films. The Addams Family movies from the 90s.
Yeah, they really are. I don't think there's many bad adaptations of the Addams Family. I think it's just a quite entertaining story to follow.
Yeah, tongue in cheek and
good humour,
good fun.
Hotel Transylvania 3, Summer Vacation. Don't know, but it might be good for your kids, maybe.
Possibly.
And also might be good for your kids is Beethoven.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Beethoven's a wonderful film.
Who doesn't love a massive dog?
No comment. So that's all coming in June, all of that. So that's quite exciting.
That is a good slate.
It's a good slate, because Netflix have been slated a little bit recently for not getting any, what do you call a non-original? Something that they haven't made themselves, like you said, an acquisition, I guess.
Yeah.
That's it for my news.
I've got some news.
You've got some news. I've watched something, so we'll do that after your news.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to swoop in with some news, and
I'm going to put like a breaking news jingle.
Okay. Well, this just randomly popped up in my Twitter feed, and I thought it's really weird because I would never have looked at this if it had come up at any other week. But it is news related to the movie we talked about last week.
Oh, really?
Related to Mute. So Duncan Jones, who obviously directed Mute and Moon, we talked a bit last week about how he had this trilogy planned, didn't he?
Yeah.
Set in that universe, and he's basically decided that the third thing in the series is such a big story with such a big budget that it's not going to be a movie. It is going to be a comic book.
Oh, right. Okay.
And you can contribute to it on Kickstarter.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah.
So it's the third in the trilogy of Moon and Mute.
Yes, correct.
Moon. I can't say it. Moon and Mute. Not Moon.
Yes.
Moon and Mute.
Exactly.
Cool.
It's called Maddie.
So he loves an M, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Midi. And it is about a group of soldiers who are genetically enhanced, and they can be remote controlled. So basically, they might go in, and the example he gave was they might go in, storm somewhere, but the person they're rescuing needs to have a life-saving operation. So they'll just flick the switch, and then they can be remote controlled by a surgeon to perform surgery.
Right. Okay.
Makes sense.
Makes perfect sense.
So there are all these enhanced soldiers, basically, and it's about them kind of trying to break free from their contracts and stuff.
Right.
£40,000 he's looking to raise.
Wow.
But he's already beaten that.
It's definitely coming then.
Yeah, should be November, apparently.
Excellent. So he's making a comic book because nobody had funded a film for him, because he's out of favour. Is that what we're saying?
I mean, he would maybe argue artistically that
yeah, of course he would.
he can meet his vision best by doing it in this way. But yes, I think you could maybe see that.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I just thought what a coincidence that's come about this week.
Interesting. I quite enjoyed Mute. I've been giving Mute a bit of thought this week, and I actually realised that I did quite enjoy it. I thought we've definitely seen worse. I don't care what anybody says. We took a lot of stick for where we put it in the stream table, and I'll stand by it. I'm sure you do too.
Sure. So, look, I said last week it was not a great movie by any stretch of the imagination. If you're ranking it against movies, like all the movies, but we're not doing that.
No. We rank it against all the shit movies.
I saw some, like I say, some of the reviews absolutely went to town on it. And I was like, this is nowhere near as bad as some of the stuff we've sat and watched. Not even close.
That brings me on quite nicely to what I've been watching at the top of the stream.
Sure.
We're transitioning through these things perfectly tonight. It's like we're professionals. I watched Child's Play on Saturday night. The remake, the new one.
Is that on Netflix?
Yes, it came to Netflix a couple of weeks ago. So I thought I'll give that a try. I haven't seen the original Child's Play for a very long time. I can barely even remember it. It's a very long time. It's all right. It's fun. It's not scary in the slightest. There's no like jump scenes or anything. The doll's quite cute.
Have they gone for more of a comedy route than the original?
Yeah, definitely more so than the original, but I don't think they were going for comedy.
Oh, right, okay.
I think it just got there.
Fine.
It's an interesting one, but it's worth an hour and a half of your time. If you like that sort of film, I don't even know how you describe it. It's not a slasher film.
Oh, yeah, well, that's what I always remember the first ones being, but...
Oh, this one isn't.
Okay, fine.
I don't know how I'd describe it. It's a bit like... It reminded me a lot of Black Mirror. You know, like...
Right.
It's as if Charlie Brooker had written it. It was that kind of... Because it's a AI... It's like almost like a living Alexa type AI robot toy.
Well, it's funny you should mention Black Mirror, because there's at least one segment in this movie we're going to talk about tonight, which was Black Mirror-esque.
Oh, transitioned again. We're brilliant.
We're not ready, though.
No, we're not ready.
I don't want to talk about the movie yet.
Have you watched anything at the top of the stream?
I've finished The Last Dance, so this is the last week time that you hear me bang on about how good it is.
Then I might start it, and you might have to hear another 6 weeks of people banging on about it.
It's awesome.
Yeah?
Absolutely. Just gripping. Absolutely brilliant.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I've not heard a bad word about it.
I've said this every week, but it's awesome.
I've not heard a bad word about it from anybody I know who's watched it. Literally everybody is raving about it.
I think you love it. I think you love it. Whenever you get to it, I think you'll be just as into it.
I will get there.
Watched another episode of Middleditch and Schwartz, which I mentioned a few weeks ago.
Yeah. How was that?
Better than the first one. Really, I was belly laughing a lot of the way through it. That's the improvised comedy show. There's 3 of them on Netflix. I've done 2 of them now. And then the other thing we have dipped our toe into over the last few days is iZombie.
Oh yeah, I've seen the first season of that and then never went back to it after that.
Okay.
I remember quite enjoying it, but I don't know why I never went back.
I've only seen the first couple of episodes, but yeah, similar sort of reaction. It seems quite fun.
Yeah, it's good. It's just fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Excellent.
That's about it for us.
You know, I was talking last week. I don't know if it was on the show or not. Well, I was about to finish Lost, but I didn't think I was going to make my deadline.
Yeah.
I think I might do it.
Oh, awesome.
The finale of Lost is 10 years old on the 24th, which is this coming Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah, Sunday. I've got 8 episodes left.
You'll do that.
So hopefully, I might nail this. But it's going to be quite nice over the weekend. So I don't know how much time inside I might spend. I'm thinking of painting my decking.
There's night.
But the finale's like 3 episodes of that. So.
Well, okay.
Which I'd have to do on the Sunday. So yeah, I'm doing it. I'm going to try and get it done, hopefully.
You're behind the 8 ball now. You can't not finish off.
Yeah, definitely. You're right. I've loved it. I've loved it so much. I don't care what anybody says. Lost is amazing. I think I've enjoyed it more this time round than I did the first time round.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, it's really good.
That's cool. I'm still a bit put off by just the size of the task, to be honest.
It's a big. If it hadn't been for lockdown, I don't think I'd have ever done it.
Yeah.
But those 3 weeks in lockdown really helped. Oh, what was that?
How's your brother?
Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna put that on mute.
Good thinking. Why is my brother texting you?
He's put it into the.
Oh, he's done it in the group chat.
Yeah. Any update on your gaming?
No, not with Stranded Deep. I haven't really been on it this much this week. I have been playing Saints and Sinners, which I think did I mention?
The
Walking Dead. The Walking Dead.
Yeah, you
one.
did.
I've been playing that quite a bit, and a new game came out yesterday on the VR called Gorn.
Right.
So I've been playing that, which is I don't know how the best way to do. You know, like wave shooters.
Yes.
Where you just stand there and you shoot shit.
Yeah.
Gorn's a little bit like that, but it's hand-to-hand combat.
Okay, cool.
And you're standing in this like gladiatorial arena, and these like big muscly things come at you, but you can just rip them to pieces. It's so much fun. It's the goriest game on the VR by far.
So you just like
you just pull their arms off and hit them.
Windmilling your arms around.
Yeah, you've got weapons, so you get like battle axes and spears and shields, and you can even throw rocks at them. But if you daze one, you can even just rip its head off, and this blood just splatters all up the walls and everything. It's so much fun.
Oh, sweet.
But I tell you what, it's a proper workout.
I bet. Yeah.
because it's been quite warm.
It certainly has.
I played it on it came out yesterday, and I played it last night for about half an hour, and the sweat was pouring off me. I had to go and have a shower.
It's like you were really there.
It's so much fun though. So I'll report back on that. I'm gonna have when I've had a proper go on it. I'll let people know how it is.
I even did a game this week.
You did a game?
Yeah.
Wow. What did you do?
I'm like, it just shows how up with the times I am. I played the first 7 chapters, I think, of Uncharted 4.
Oh wow, that's a great game. I love the Uncharted series.
Yeah, never played any of them before. I think it was one of the free games of the month with the PS Plus.
Yeah, it was a couple of months ago.
I had a bit of time on my own, and it was good. I enjoyed it.
Excellent.
I know nothing about it, considering it's one of the most popular game series of all time. But it was fun.
All 4 of those games are really good, like really good.
Yeah,
but they're trying to make a movie on it, but it feels like it's cursed because it's been in production now for 2 or 3 years. But every time something moves forward, they take about 4 steps backwards.
Yeah,
and I think they got to like day 2 of filming, and then lockdown happened, and now it's just on hold again.
Well,
it's like it's never going to happen.
Be worth the wait.
Do you know who's playing Nathan Drake?
No, who is?
Tom Holland.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
a younger version.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how that's going to work, but
because they wanted,
he's really good at like jumping around and flying through, and grabbing onto walls and stuff, which is a lot of what Nathan Drake does.
I think you may be getting Spider-Man confused with real life there.
Always.
Nathan Fillion was the guy they had in mind for it for a long time, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But he's probably a bit too old now.
That's how long the film's been in production. Nathan Fillion's got old. Anything else?
No, I think that's it for news and new things for me.
I don't think I've got anything else to talk about either. So shall we move on and talk about 8 films?
Let's talk about 8 films and 1 film.
Okay. Okay, so this week we watched a film called Holidays. It is from 2016. It is an 18. It runs for 1 hour and 45 minutes and is currently rated at 5.1 on IMDb. And it is 8 short films in one anthology series, all based on various holidays throughout the year. Instead of going through all the actors and directors now, I'm going to do it as if we were doing separate films.
Sure.
So I'll run through who they are at the beginning of each segment, shall we say.
I think we'll go into more detail on some of these than others. Because actually, before I sort of give away, as we go through this, what I thought of each one, I know we don't want to stay away from spoilers, not at all, but I think with some of this, part of the fun is in not knowing what's coming next, actually.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Just because, even if you get a bad segment, you're only a few minutes away from the next one.
From the next bad segment.
Well, potentially. We'll see.
Yeah, they all range in length from about 8 minutes to about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting way to do a film. It feels like it's like, because they're all pretty much all directed by different people, all written by different, there's one that's written by the same, but there's 2 that's written by the same person. It feels like they're like ideas for films that you would never make into a full-length film. So it's just like, let's give these guys free rein on just causing some batshit crazy stuff, because this is mental.
Yeah, some of these are pretty out there.
Some of these are really out there. Like, as far out there as you can possibly get. So, shall we start on the first one?
Yeah, sure. So what's the first holiday of the year?
First holiday of the year is Valentine's Day. This one runs for 12 minutes and is written and directed by 2 guys called Kevin Kolsch and Dennis Ovidmeyer. They are most famous for writing and directing the new Pet Sematary film.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So they did that last year or the year before?
Last year, I believe.
Last year, I think, with John Lithgow in.
Yeah.
So we're not going to run through all of these films scene by scene like we normally do, are we? Because that's going to take us all fucking night.
Yeah.
So what's the basic idea behind Valentine's Day?
So this is your sort of spin on Carrie, 100%. I guess.
There was so many Carrie references in it.
So these are sort of, 15, 16-year-olds at school, and there is a girl who is bullied by her schoolmates. The coach seems to have a bit of a soft spot for her.
She's got a bit of a soft spot for the coach as well, to be fair.
Yeah, but the coach doesn't step in to stop the bullying because the girl who is doing the bullying has organised a fundraiser to raise money for a heart transplant that the coach needs to stay alive.
Yes. That's exactly.
That is the setup.
That's
basically.
the setup. That's the setup and the premise. So it opens on. I'm not going to go through it like all I said, but it opens on this girl called Maxine, and she's basically trying to jump. She's going to jump off her high diving board, and they're all like bullying her to try and make her do it. And the main bully's called Heidi.
Yeah.
There's loads of like weird 80s music moments. Did you notice them when she's like she looks at the coach and it's like it goes into slow motion and there's 80s music playing.
So you get like a pink hue around her.
Yeah.
And yeah, you get sort of a bit of synth.
Yeah.
Music going on.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a styles clash going on here. Yeah.
Yeah, you could say that.
It's wildly over the top, this segment.
Yeah, completely over the top. It's mental. It's absolutely. It's batshit. It's the first of the batshit crazy ones. Basically, it gets to the point where Maxine doesn't fight back to Heidi at all.
No.
At any point.
She doesn't speak, does she?
I don't think she speaks during the whole thing, does she?
No, that's what I mean.
Yeah, no, I don't think she does. The coach has an argument with his, you assume, wife or girlfriend, and he's about to write a Valentine's Day card for her, but he ends up writing it to Maxine instead.
Yeah, to cheer her up.
To cheer her up, which is troubling.
It is very problematic in his position of trust, I would say.
And while she's in the shower, he sneaks it into her locker to like cheer her up, and she finds it, and it really does cheer her up. The smile that comes on her face is creepy as fuck, and you get another one of these 80s music moments going off behind her, and it changes her whole like attitude throughout the rest of it, and she eventually goes and stalks Heidi. So,
yeah, on her way home from school.
Yeah, so she kind of follows Heidi into the woods, and Heidi like freaks out a little bit because she's not a big girl, is she, Heidi? But Max is quite. You wouldn't want to mess with her, even though she has been messing with her.
Yeah.
And so she starts running, and she ends up falling over in this mud, and Maxine kills her with a brick.
Yeah, she bricks her head in.
She does. She gets the Stanley knife, and the next thing we see is the coach is at his house. There's a knock on his door, and he opens the door, and Maxine's there with Heidi's heart, and she just hands it to him.
Yeah, with the same smile on her face.
Same creepy smile on her face, and the film ends.
That's it, done.
That's it. That's your 12 minutes in. Short and sharp and weird as fuck. I always find short films a bit weird because there's no context. You don't get the character building that you get in normal films, and you don't get like the build up of story. You just get wham bam, here's your scene, and it always leaves me like open mouthed because you don't expect it, and that happens quite a lot all the way through this one.
Did you enjoy this one?
Yeah, I didn't hate it. It was all right.
Yeah, I'm similar. So a lot of these I thought did not stick their end at all.
Yeah,
they absolutely bombed it on the landing.
Yeah.
But I actually didn't mind this ending. It was short, sharp, snappy.
Yeah.
Completely over the top. I didn't think like anyone was any good in it in the brief brief moments they had. Yeah, I didn't think it wasn't portrayed like a realistic.
Yeah.
It was, like I said, it was just over the top. The bullying wasn't believable to this degree that no one would step in and stuff like that. But you had to give it all that. But yeah, it was okay. It was mid range.
It wasn't the best one. It wasn't the worst
segments.
One. We're going to arrange them into like a mini stream table at the end, aren't we? So
I've got mine. Yeah.
I've got mine as well. So it'll be interesting to see how they compare. It'll be really interesting. So what's the second holiday of the year, Nick?
It's St. Patrick's Day.
It is St. Patrick's Day. This one runs at 14 minutes and was written and directed by a guy called Gary Shaw, who's pretty much an unknown. He made a film called Dracula Untold a few years ago. Yeah, I've heard of it. But he's not really done much before or since then. This one's a little bit longer than that last one, and it's a really weird one, this one.
It's Whacking Day.
Where do we even start with this?
So there's a teacher and there's a new girl in her class.
Yeah.
And I just slagged off the performances in Valentine's Day. Again, we've got another mute child here. But she's really creepy. And it's a good performance. Really
creepy. She's really creepy, the little girl in this. She's got like this weird smile on her face all the way through.
Sure.
That's really weird. It's got a bit of an Edgar Wright style to it, this one. It's all like sharp, quick cuts and flash cuts and things like that.
It is. It's really it's only, like you say, it's only on for 15 minutes, and he overdoes that in the 15 minutes this is on for. The flash cuts are way overdone.
Yeah, because this only is on for 40 minutes, but then the film itself runs over nearly 400 days. So he probably has to like go through this as quick as he can. So basically, in the first scene, we meet this girl and this teacher, and the girl doesn't seem to respect the teacher at all. She's just literally sits there smiling and ignores everything she's told.
Yeah, the teacher's trying to get some sort of reaction out of her, just integrate her into the school. It's just not happening. So follow the teacher home, and she's organising her St. Patrick's Day night out.
Yeah, where she's going to get smashed.
Yeah. And then we cut to her waking up in the back of her car.
Yeah. In
the midst of a coiled
spiral
of shopping trolleys.
Yeah. It's a nice
She did not remark upon at all.
No, she didn't. Yeah, it was a nice visual. It was a bit weird, but it looked quite nice, how these trolleys just spiraled around this car. From there we go to day 13. So this was then 13 days later, obviously, than the first bit. And the girl sees the teacher in the supermarket.
Yeah.
And she comes up and hugs her. And the teacher kind of reacts badly to that. She's like, this is inappropriate in a public place, blah, blah, blah. The teacher then finds out that she's pregnant.
Yeah.
And the nurse says, you're pregnant, but we're not sure what it is. And she's very happy. She's like, oh, it doesn't matter if it's a boy or a girl. And then the nurse says, I'd say it looks more like a reptile.
Yeah. And she says, have you seen that movie Rosemary's Baby?
Yeah.
I don't know what was happening here.
No, not me.
The way that this doctor was scripted, it was out of whack with the rest of this segment. It just totally threw me for a curve.
Yeah.
It was really weird.
Really weird is a term we're going to get used a lot during the next hour or so. Next day in the class, the teacher, well, it's later on in the day, the teacher vomits all over the classroom, but it's like deep black vomit, almost like Peeler's vomit from a few weeks ago. And she ends up slapping the little girl.
Yeah. Because she's just sitting there smiling.
Yeah, because she's not stopped smiling for the whole thing. Cut to day 366, so over a year later. Teacher's still pregnant, and she's in a shop. This bit was weird.
Yeah, it was.
She picks up like a boy's baby grow, and she just sniffs it and tries to eat it.
Yeah.
And the woman in the shop's getting all like, oh, you can't do that. That's inappropriate. Don't do that, please.
And there's a voice message at the same time playing on over the top, and it's from her sister, and it's saying, why didn't you go to your appointment at the zoo? You're supposed to go and see the vet.
Yeah. Yeah. Cut to day 396, so 30 days later again. She's in the bath now with a mouse, as you do, and then she gives birth.
Yeah, she's teasing that snake baby out, man.
Yeah, and out it pops. Then there's a weird bit where there's some people in a field with face masks, animal masks on.
Yeah.
Which is a bit weird, but it turns out it's a dream that she wakes up from. She goes to the actual place where there is a ritual going on with the little girl and her dad, who turns out to be Danny Zuko from Greece. In what might be the weirdest twist in any film I've ever seen.
So not John Travolta.
No.
He's Danny Zuko from Greece. And he is the person that she slept with on St. Patrick's Day and impregnated her with a snake. And all the people running around this tree are holding said snake aloft.
Yes.
And the teacher just totally gives in, and she's well happy. She's got a snake baby. And
did you see the actual snake?
Oh, it was hot garbage.
It reminded me, you know, when you get like things that you put along the bottom of a door.
Yeah, it was a draft excluder.
It was a draft excluder. 100%. It was a long one, but his face was all cheery and smiley.
Yeah,
it was so weird. And then she has a bit of a dance with it. Then you see a nun who is also a teacher, just let the class out, and she finds a snake skin on her desk.
Yeah, so it's
happening.
The cycle
again.
Is repeating,
and that's the end of the film. That's fucking weird, that one, mate. There's no getting around it.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty bad.
I'm never going to forget it. It's going to stay with me for a very long time.
I'll give props to the creepiness of the little girl, that's about all I'll give it, I think.
Yeah, the story itself is mental and not really that interesting.
No.
It's weird. That one's weird. We should just probably gloss over that one and move on to Easter.
Yes, let's.
Easter is on for 11 minutes, so...
Yeah, this is a quickie.
It's a quickie. It's the shortest one we've done so far. Written and directed by a guy called Nicholas McCarthy, who, again, is a bit of an unknown, hasn't really done anything, but I want to point out somebody who's in this one.
Right.
I don't know if you've noticed or not. So this one stars a guy called Mark Steger.
Right.
Any idea who he is?
No.
Basically, Mark Steger is one of those guys that just basically plays like monsters or creatures or aliens.
Right.
Or Bigfoots.
Like Doug Jones, who's like, does the same sort of thing.
Yeah. He plays the Bigfoot in The Man Who Killed Hitler and then the Bigfoot.
Oh, amazing.
So yeah, basically that's what he does. He just basically plays that sort of creature, and he does in this as well. But yeah, I thought that was quite interesting that we've got a
good find.
Bottom of the stream alum in even appearing here. Go and check out our episode on The Man Who Killed Hitler and then the Bigfoot, because it's fucking brilliant, and so is the film.
Great movie. Yeah.
So what happens in this one, Nick?
Right. So we're now at Easter, and we open up, and there is a mother sort of trying to get a kid to sleep.
Yeah.
And a kid has got a lot of questions, which are all really justifiable, to be honest.
Completely.
So it's quite a religious household, and this little girl is asking all these questions. Why does a bunny turn up at Easter and lay eggs? I'm a bit scared about this man who comes back from the dead at Easter.
Yeah, fair play.
Easter is a weird one, isn't it?
It is, but nobody ever asks the questions about it. And it did make me think. It's like...
And then she throws in, just after they're having this discussion, will my daddy ever come back?
Yeah.
So this is obviously a broken household in more ways than one. Anyway, her mum sort of talks her off to sleep, doesn't she?
Yeah, basically. She says no kid's ever seen the Easter Bunny, so you don't need to worry about it. You'll never see it. You're just going to wake up in the morning, there'll be shitloads of chocolate everywhere. It's going to be great. In the middle of the night, while they're both asleep, the patio door opens.
Yeah.
And this like egg rolls in. It's just like a
big egg, yeah.
Yeah, big egg, like almost like an Easter egg, that sort of size. But it is a natural egg. The kid gets up for some water, because obviously that's what you do in the middle of the night when you're scared. And you see this like shadowy figure appear behind her. So she goes to check it out. What do you say this kid is? About 8 or 9?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, so she steps into some like goo on the floor, some slime.
There's like a chicken. There's like a chick on the floor.
Yeah, there's
as well,
a little chick on the floor that she.
Yeah, a little Easter chick, not a fucking cockerel walking around like crowing out.
Tiny little chick bird chick. And then I've written here, there's a man in a nappy producing chicks from his hands.
Yeah,
that's a sentence I never thought I'd say.
Then he turns around, and who is it?
It's the Easter Bunny.
Kind of. He's half Easter Bunny, half Jesus.
Yeah, it's the Easter Jesus.
And he's got, as you say, chicks coming out of his stigmata.
Yeah, he's got holes in the palm of his hands, and these little chicks are popping out of it. Yeah, that happens.
So, as terrible as that snake was in the last segment, this was creepy.
Yeah, it was horrible.
This monster was creepy.
Yeah, it really was. It looked gross. That's the only word I can describe it. And
it's like a slimy, naked bunny Jesus.
There's another sentence you never thought you'd say. Slimy, naked bunny Jesus. He kind of grabs her and says, look, nobody's ever seen me before. But now you've seen me, you need to put your hand inside me. You're like, what? So he grabs her like hand, and he's got like a scar along his chest.
Yeah.
And he just kind of digs her fingers into it.
Yeah, and he's like enjoying it.
Yeah, he's loving it.
A lot.
And then he says, now you've seen me, you now must take my place as new Jesus Bunny.
Yeah.
So he gets an egg, small egg, and he puts it in her mouth, and she kind of crunches down on this egg. And then you see a shadow of her turning into a rabbit.
Yeah, and it's like stop motion, isn't it? It's really like jerky, and she grows ears as the shadow, and then her mum wakes up in the morning, and that's it.
Yep, the end. Wow. It was a short, sharp, quick one, that one. But
yeah.
Best one so far?
I think this is the most memorable one so far.
Yeah.
Did it have enough? It's maybe the only one where I was like, oh, I could have seen more of this.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of ideas in a real short space of time here. So I actually really like the concept of sort of the kid asking these obvious questions, which are really difficult to answer.
Yeah.
So
it's weird. That's just something we accept.
And yeah, exactly. And then it just went so left field. And the makeup was good, the monster was good, and it had a horrible ending. Yeah, I this was weird, but it was good weird.
Yeah, agreed. Shall we move on to the next one?
Sure.
The next holiday is Mother's Day. This one's on for 13 minutes, and it's written and directed by a lady called Sarah Adina Smith. Do you know that name?
No, should I?
Yes.
Why?
She's been on the stream before.
Has she?
She is the writer and director of Buster's Malheart.
Oh.
Remember her now?
Yeah.
Creepy, weird hippie woman. Yeah, she wrote and directed that.
Wow, I had not put two and two together. And come up with 16, which is what would have happened in Buster's Malheart.
Yeah, and this. This one's odd. They've all been odd. They all are odd. This one's really odd. This one starts off in like an abortion clinic, and this lady's gone there for her 20th abortion because she says it's like she's cursed because every time she has sex, she gets pregnant.
Yeah.
No matter what they try and do, she gets pregnant, which is definitely a curse. The doctor lady gives the lady her sister's telephone number.
Yeah. She says, go out to the desert. My sister runs a fertility camp. You know, look at this from a different perspective. Maybe there's something there that can help you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so off she goes, off into the desert.
She goes, this is one of the longest ones in this, and this is one of the least amount of notes I've written. Because...
Yeah, same.
It's just... Nothing happens in it.
There's a lot of tracking shots of a nice desert and
and you get to this like
animals and nature.
Yeah, you get to this ritual and there's all like standard movie rituals going on. So like weird naked dancing.
Yeah, dreamy sort of drug induced.
There's all like tapestries on the walls of the tents, and you know this sort of thing. You've seen it in hundreds of different films. It's almost like they're all drugged.
Yeah,
it turns out they are all drugged. All the other women are there because they can't get pregnant, and she's there because she can't stop getting pregnant. So there's kind of almost a resentment towards her from everybody else.
Yeah, so they go through this ceremony, don't they?
Yeah,
fertility ceremony or whatever. And I want to say, like, basically a witch comes and whispers in all their ears. But when she gets to Our Lady here, I don't know if she ever gets a name. I'm not sure.
I don't think she does.
She sort of says, "You're a gateway," and that's it. Then it kind of fades out of the ceremony and it's straight into a dream sequence.
Yeah, some dude appears at one point.
People lying with each other, and then a big dude turns up.
Yeah, he looked like
stands above her.
He looked like one of the Dothraki from Game of Thrones. He's a great big dude. Yeah, and then she wakes up the next day and she's pregnant, obviously, because that's what happens. She's kind of heavily sedated, like drugged. Yep. She manages to get hold of her phone. So
time has passed as well by this point, so she's now really pregnant.
Yeah, she's heavily pregnant.
She's been kept in this place and drugged for the length of her pregnancy.
Yeah. She manages to get hold of her phone, and she's almost like snapping out of it a little bit.
Yeah.
But like still pretending to be, so nobody's noticed. She manages to call 911 and get through to the police, but they can't really hear her because she's trying to be quiet. The lady who's keeping them there kind of comes out, and they have a bit of a chase scene. She chases her through the desert, but she can't get very far because she's 9 months pregnant. So she falls over flat onto her stomach, which induces the labour.
Yeah, and then as she's in labour, she has a kind of flashback to the ceremony, and someone said to her, every time you end the life, it comes back stronger.
Yeah.
At which point, a massive full-on arm comes out of her.
Yeah, a massive full-on human arm comes out of her, covered in blood, and the other women all scream, and the film ends.
I mean, you ain't getting a baby out arm first.
No.
You ain't definitely not getting a full-grown person out arm first.
No, it's not going to end well, is it?
No.
Now I've told you that this is by the woman who made Buster's Malheart. Can you completely see that?
I can.
Because it was all a great big load of nothing with trippy dream sequences all the way through it.
I can. I will give it a little benefit of the doubt. I think I might have liked this better if it wasn't so similar and to the St. Patrick's Day one. And if I'd seen them the other way round, maybe I'd have liked
You reckon?
them the other way round. Well, did you not think they were just really
they
similar?
are very similar. I really didn't like this one.
No, I didn't either.
But yeah, you're right. There is similarities between the two of them. There's similarities between quite a lot of them. There's one that's completely different from the rest of them, but they all have like a common theme. There's a lot of kids and births and
body horror.
Yeah, there's a lot of that sort of thing going on, like
Yeah.
parent relationships, that sort of thing.
Well, you're going to get that with Mother's Day and Father's Day, I suppose, aren't you? But yeah, you're right. There is a lot of sort of disgusting body horror type stuff.
Yeah,
but yeah, they're trying to make the most of their 10 minutes, I suppose. Yeah, I didn't have much time for this.
No,
one.
nor me. Didn't get that one at all.
I didn't find it. It didn't hook me. I didn't find it suspenseful. Yeah, I was just waiting for the next one, to be honest.
Yeah, completely agree. Couldn't agree more. The next one is Father's Day, obviously. It's also 13 minutes long and was written and directed by Anthony Scott Burns, who, again, is a bit of an unknown. He was the second unit director on In the Tall Grass, which is a Netflix film, Stephen King film. But other than that, he hasn't really got any major credits to his name. And we hit Father's Day. So what happens in Father's Day, Nick?
We have got another teacher. So her name is Carol. She's come home to mark papers, and there's a package on the door step. She goes inside to open it, and it says Happy Father's Day. She opens the package. There's a ye olde cassette player in there with a tape in it. She starts listening to it, and it's a recording from her dad, who left her when she was a child.
Yes, and this tape message just basically apologises for him leaving and the way he left, the fact that he just deserted her out in the middle of nowhere. He says he loves her. That's sort of this standard sort of tape message. But then cryptically at the end he says, if you want to find me, you need to go where we played on our last day together. Go there, turn the tape over and hit play. Obviously she does. She calls her mum first, leaves her a voicemail message.
Yeah.
Calls her a liar because obviously her mum's told her that he's been dead for all this time. And she heads to the beach because that's obviously where they last played. She turns the tape over, hits play, and the recording on this side is him talking to her, but when she was a child.
So, yeah, he is giving directions to future Carol.
Yeah.
But little girl Carol is also in the background.
Is there with him,
because he's playing with her.
Yeah, so there's like a time travel-y kind of element to it.
This was a good gimmick.
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah, agreed.
And the dad starts giving Carol instructions, literally directions.
Yeah, telling her where to go, where to walk. He gives her an address, and she eventually ends up at this like big building. I don't quite know what it was. It looked like an old.
I would say it was like an old. I couldn't tell if it was like a bank or like a temple.
I thought it was like a museum kind of place.
There was lots of columns, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was that sort of building. So she goes inside because that's what he tells her to do on the tape. And there's like you see like a shadowy figure run past behind her. He's still talking her through what's going on. Yeah. And kind of directing her through this building as well now.
At the same time, he's there on the day he recorded it, and he says, he says to the little girl, you just sit there, I need to go and talk to this lady. And he's like, I'm here for my appointment.
Yeah. And he says, you only get one chance to visit me. This is your only chance. And she kind of steps over this like line of ash on the floor.
Sure. So she's like descended, into the basement of this building, hasn't she? And she doesn't notice it, but the camera blatantly zooms in on this, like you say, line of salt or ash that she crosses.
It's like watching Lost. It says she's come of her own free. Thank you for coming. You've come of your own free will. And then this weird, like, humanoid monster thing jumps out at her.
Yeah,
almost like a vampire type thing.
It's like sitting in a throne, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that's it. And it gets her, and that's the end of it.
I thought this was really good. Yeah, and then it shit the bed on the ending.
It completely did. It really did. There was a really good concept of it. I was like, oh, this is going to be time travel-y. She's going to meet up with her dad. And then it was like, oh, just have a monster jump out and get her at the end.
Yeah.
And it's a real shame because it's a really good concept.
This would have been better if she'd have just walked through a door. Oh, we'd never known what happened. Why does there have to be some, like, gremlin goblin thing sitting in a chair? Yeah, it was a shame about the ending because the build-up was really good. And it kind of just, like you said, shit the bed. It's a shame. But it was. This one did hook me. It was suspenseful. It was. I really wanted to see what was going on here and where it was going. and then it just
went there.
It did. It shit the bed at the end.
It did. It's a shame because, like we said, it could have been good. That brings us on to Halloween, probably the one holiday that's been made into more films than ever.
Sure, and probably the segment. A couple of them. There's a couple of them that have, shall we say, tenuous links to the holiday they're supposed to be covering.
Yep.
This has got literally nothing to do with Halloween.
This is what surprised me the most, because Halloween is the easiest thing to make in a horror film. Yeah. And they completely didn't. They completely just went out there with it.
So
it doesn't even have to be at Halloween.
I did a bit of reading after I watched this film.
Okay.
And I found a little snippet of an interview with Kevin Smith, because he's the director of this.
Yeah, he writes and directs this one.
And he actually said when he wrote this story, it was called Hallow Ian.
That makes more sense.
And it is not specifically a Halloween story. It was more just he came up with the pun when he wrote the story. And obviously it does feel a bit shoehorned in, I must say.
Yeah, completely. It's completely out of place with the rest of them as well. It's not the style.
Is it not me? But it looks slicker.
Yeah, it's completely different. It's completely different style. It looks filming the most style.
Cinematic.
Yeah, it's so out of place. It's almost like I looked at the screen. I was like, "Am I watching a different film?" The color palette's completely different. Everything's completely different in it. It's really strange. It's almost like they've gone to Kevin Smith. Right, we're making this film. There's going to be loads of like indie directors, but you can have this one and just do what you want with it. Everybody else has got to follow the rules, but you don't. It's fine. You don't even have to make it about a holiday if you don't want to. Just please come. Just please come and be in it. It's 13 minutes long, this one. So again, 13 seems to be the average number that we're going for. In the beginning, we meet a guy called Ian. Ian is a sleazy porn producer, almost, or wannabe porn producer.
Yeah.
And he's trying to entice... He's on the phone to a couple of girls trying to entice them.
He runs a cam girl racket, basically, doesn't he?
Yeah. He's on the phone to a couple of girls trying to entice them to come to LA to join his webcam website.
I'm just realising I've written 5 lines for this.
And that's really?
It. Yeah.
Wow. His daughter's in this as well. Kevin Smith's daughter's in this.
Yeah, Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn. There's a weird one to put your daughter in.
Yeah, a little bit.
So Ian gets home and there's 3 girls there at his house who are webcam girls who he's keeping there against their will almost. It was like they haven't got anywhere better to go. So
certainly, he's putting a roof over their heads, but exploiting them massively. Yeah,
he's a dick. This guy, he's horrible to him. He calls them all whores. He basically tells them to live by the rules that he's set, and they should. Why they're not on the webcam? Why is there nobody on the webcam now? I'm losing money. He's basically being a dick. One of them decides to stand up to him.
Yeah.
They were watching a cartoon about witches, weren't they?
They were, yeah.
And she makes this analogy that witches are always more powerful in threes, and there's 3 of them. They end up having a bit of a row, and she ends up smacking him and knocking him out.
Yeah, one of them twats him with a toaster.
Yeah. Knocks him unconscious.
Which always reminds me of the Bill Murray film, Scrooged. where the fairies keeps hitting him in the head with a toaster. Yeah. Anyway.
That's completely different to where this film ends up going.
Yeah, totally.
This goes completely off the rails now. It's just I don't even want to talk about where this film goes now.
That's horrible.
This
is a really nasty 13 minutes.
Yeah.
Like it's I wouldn't say every character in here is nasty. Clearly Ian is an absolute piece of shit. Yeah. But there's nothing redeeming about this. This is
the girls are no better.
It's just nasty, isn't it?
Yeah, it's horrible.
It's horrible.
So Ian wakes up on the bed in front of the webcam, and he's only in his underpants, and he's got a cable coming out of his bottom.
Yeah.
The webcam's running, and the girls are talking to him via the chat screen. And it turns out, I can't believe I'm going to say this, they have stuck a vibrator up his arse and tethered it to a car battery, and then superglued his arse cheeks together.
Yeah.
As you do.
He is glued shut.
He is glued shut. They turn him on. Well, they turn the vibrator on. And one of the girls types in, "Show us your pussy." And then a knife comes flying through the door, or under the door.
Yeah, because he drops trowel.
Yeah.
And he's like, there you go. And they're like, no.
Make one.
You got to make one.
So he does.
Yeah, because they say we're only on a 2. This goes up to 10.
Yeah, he's in a lot of pain when they turn it on. He's in a lot of pain. So he does. He cuts himself. Blood shoots everywhere. And then we switch to the girl's perspective. So we kind
But then it just... Yeah, and it just... The tone just changes. And one of them goes, oh, this is boring now.
Yeah. So the camera's like...
Let's just turn it to 10 anyway.
Yeah, so they just instantly turn it up to 10. And she says what happens if we put it up to 10. She turns it to 10. And then one of the other girls goes, that. Assuming that Ian's just exploded. That's how I interpret it. I don't know if you did.
Either that or he's still sitting on the bed, just sort of vibrating.
It looked to me like he'd exploded.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and then another girl knocks on the door looking for Ian, and that's the end of that one.
Yeah, they're like, we're under new management.
Yeah, that was a weird 13 minutes.
Like I say, it was just nasty. It wasn't entertaining.
No, not at all. It was like...
It wasn't funny.
You can imagine that's what the world's like inside Kevin Smith's head. It wasn't funny, it wasn't entertaining, it was just weird and a bit sick. Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
It wasn't clever. It was
really shoehorned in as well, like we said earlier. It has nothing to do with Halloween whatsoever. At least all of the others kind of stuck to a theme, whereas this one didn't at all.
No, it just felt like a Kevin Smith cast off, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Big time.
Which brings us to the big holiday. Christmas is here.
It's the daddy of all the holidays.
This one's only on for 10 minutes. This is very short and sharp. Written and directed by a guy called Scott Stewart and stars Seth Green.
He's always good value, isn't he?
Seth Green, yeah.
He's watchable. He's really watchable.
Yeah.
Why isn't he in more stuff?
Exactly. He's been around for a long time, but he's not been in anything. The lady in this is called Claire Grant and is Seth Green's in real life wife.
Oh, so he's doing all right for himself.
They are married, the two people in this, who play a married couple as well. This starts with an advert for a thing called UView. Or UVU. UVU, which is basically a almost virtual reality style headset that you put on, but it shows you what it thinks you want to see. So you don't have to put in any games or anything like that. It's going to show you what your innermost desires. I think that's how they describe it.
It's got an algorithm that connects to your memory, and so it's the must-have Christmas toy, isn't it?
Yeah, this film starts on Christmas Eve, and Seth Green's character's called Pete, and he's gone to a store at the very last thing at night to get hold of a UVU, but obviously they've all sold out because it's Christmas Eve.
Just picture Jingle All the Way. That's where we are.
Yeah, completely. The last customer to leave with one, Pete kind of follows them and offers him $500 for it in the end. But the man's like, nah, get away, this Christmas Eve, I need this. Then you hear like a crash behind Seth Green's character, and this man has collapsed on the floor and spilt all his pills everywhere, so he's obviously a not well man.
Yeah, the pills are sort of agonisingly just out of his reach.
Yeah. But Pete looks like he's going to call the police, and then he spots the UVU sitting on the man's driver's seat of his car. So he doesn't call the police, he leaves the man to die and takes his UVU.
Yeah.
Get back to the house, and Pete's wife's there. She's had a bad day at work. She's not had her Christmas bonus. She's feeling all shit and doesn't like her boss. She slags his boss off for a little while. You can tell that
I was just going to say, meanwhile, Pete's having he's replaying the incident in his mind, isn't he?
Yeah.
And obviously that's having a big effect on him.
Yeah, he's feeling a bit guilty. You can tell it in his face. But the next morning is Christmas morning, and his kid opens up his UVU, and he's never been happier. So that kind of appeases Pete almost. And the kid puts it on, and he's like, he becomes the first man on Mars. He's like walking around on Mars.
Yeah, it's like created a game for him, hasn't it? Specifically for him. So
the kid's like, I'll take it off, and Dad, look at this, see what it does for you. It's brilliant, you'll love it. So Pete puts it on, and he sees like this naked lady being spanked.
Yeah, he's in like a strip joint / sort of dominatrix club, isn't he?
Yeah, so he rips it off his head. I've written at this point, there's music playing all the way through this one, and it's really like plunky plonky piano music, and it's just like the music in Stranded Deep, the game I've been playing.
Oh, is it?
It was like almost identical. So it was like, I think they've taken the soundtrack from Stranded Deep. They all go to bed that night, Christmas night, and Pete gets up in the night and puts it back on because he wants a bit more time with this dominatrix lady. But he doesn't get it this time. This time when he puts it on, he sees the opening scene again where he left the man to die. But he sees it from the man's perspective.
Yeah, he does.
And eventually even sees the man ended up going into the morgue and being put in a drawer.
He sees him being zipped up and
put in a drawer.
Put in the fridge. Yeah.
So the next morning he calls the helpline to see what's going on with this thing. Why is he seeing different things?
Yeah, because he hears that a very small percentage of users are having bad reactions to it, basically.
Yeah, the helpline man says, "Oh, if you want, we can log in and see what you've been looking at."
Yeah.
Obviously, he can't have that because he left this man to die. So he kind of just hangs up. The next scene is back with his wife, and she's got the U-view in her hands, and she's seen what Pete's been seeing.
Yeah, because he didn't log out.
He didn't log out.
Absolute rookie error.
Yeah, always clear your search history. He thinks she's going to freak out, but she finds it hot, and she jumps on him, and they have they do the naughty. He wakes up the next morning, she's gone, and he puts the U-view back on again. But this time Sarah's forgotten to log out, and she's dextered her boss to death.
Yeah. So she has done a proper kill room and everything, and she's chopped him up.
Yeah. And then it says U-view shows you. And that's the end of that one. So they're both vicious murderers, these two loving parents. What do you think of that one?
It was a hell of a lot in 10 minutes.
It was good, I thought. I like that one.
But it felt like the most complete segment. It was a whole story.
Yeah. From start to finish.
It wasn't just, oh crap, we've done our 10 minutes, we need to come up with a quick ending. It was a self-contained little Black Mirror-esque story.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah, I like that one. That did feel very Black Mirror, that one. You could imagine that being
Sure.
expanded to be on Black Mirror for an hour.
Yeah.
That brings us to the final holiday of the year, New Year's Eve.
Indeed.
Also, this is one of the shortest ones. This is only 9 minutes long.
I thought it was, yeah.
Written by the same people who wrote the first one, Kevin Kolsch and Dennis Widmeyer, but directed by a guy called Adam Egypt Mortimer, which is a fantastic name.
It is a good name.
Why he's got Egypt as his middle name, I love that. This one is a different step again. I don't really know how to describe this one.
Would you say this is the most outright comedic one?
Yeah, definitely.
I would say it is.
Yeah, they kind of went for a different vibe in this one, didn't they?
So we meet Reggie,
Yep.
who has got a woman tied up in his house.
Yep.
And eventually he shoots her in the head after having forgot to load his gun the first couple of times.
Twice.
Yeah. And he's looking for a date for New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
And he basically tells this woman he's got tied up. No, you're not my type.
Yeah, it's not you, sorry.
But he quickly meets another lady on a dating app.
Yep.
And they go on a date to a restaurant.
Yeah.
And they have a really awkward conversation because they're both not social butterflies, I think it's fair to say.
Completely. He's grim. He's picking his nose, he's picking his teeth.
His teeth are green, aren't they?
He talks to her about her teeth quite a lot.
Yeah.
But then his teeth are vile. Yeah, it doesn't go well.
But she's basically desperate. And she says, well...
It's New Year's Eve.
Yeah, I don't want to be sat on my own.
Yeah.
Do you want to come back to mine and watch the ball drop?
I don't know why I find that funny. I've watched the ball drop live in New York. I say that. I was there. I was too far back to see the actual ball drop.
Okay. Better view on TV.
Yeah, definitely. And when they get back to her apartment, she immediately grabs his junk through his trousers. And he completely freaks out, because he wasn't expecting it. And he heads off to the bathroom.
Yeah.
To sort himself out. And he gets her toothbrush and he puts it in his mouth. And he's rubbing it all around his tongue and his teeth. It's disgusting. But while he's doing this, he opens up the bathroom cabinet.
Wait, he's gone in the bathroom to chloroform a rag.
Yeah.
Because he's going to come back out and get her, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, he opens up the bathroom cabinet and there are a load of specimen jars in there.
Yeah.
And there's eyeballs and they're all labelled, aren't they, with guys' names?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's a Wang in there.
Yeah, I think there was.
And then there's an empty jar with Reggie's name on it.
Yeah. There's also...
That's your twist.
So he pulls back the shower curtain and there's a body in the bath. And there's bits of body hanging up above the bath. And suddenly she just bursts through the door with an axe.
Yeah.
And you're it's completely wrong-footed, everybody. They have a bit of a rumble. He's trying to claw himself away out of the room and she chops his foot off.
Yes, he does.
Which was quite graphic. Literally, you see
it's not a clean cut, so it
you see it
pulls away, doesn't it?
The gristle comes out the bottom of his trouser leg with his sock on still. It's
like
quite graphic.
Pork, isn't it?
I'm never eating that again. The door. He tries to get to the door, but the door's padlocked. He's got his gun, but that jams again for the third time in this film. Then you see the New Year's Eve countdown going down. It's 10-1, and when it hits 1, she axes him right in the head.
Yeah.
She buries this axe.
Splits him in half.
Buries this axe deep in his head. She has a bit of a dance, and not only does that film end, your entire film ends.
Yeah.
And we're done with the holidays for the year. What did you think of the New Year's Eve one?
It was snappy. It was fun. I quite enjoyed it. I think it's probably the best one to end it on.
Yeah, definitely. It was a good way to end it.
I like the comedy one. Yeah.
So what did you think of the film overall? Holidays as a film.
I didn't love it.
It's really difficult to judge it, isn't it? Because
it is, because it's not a... So I'll tell you what, maybe this is partly my fault, but my perception of this before I started watching it is that there would be some kind of thread that brought them all together.
Yeah.
And that was not the case at all. This is literally 8 short films.
Yeah, completely.
There is nothing that ties them together. They're loosely under this holiday gimmick, but some of them aren't really anything to do with the holidays.
No.
And they are the quality just varies wildly.
Very much so. There's even like a small credit sequence at the end of each one. It is like 8 short films just finishing there.
So in that respect, it feels like a bit of a missed opportunity. But it's obvious there wasn't anyone bringing us together as a whole. It was just done by 8 completely different people and then stitched together.
Anthology films are always a bit like that, though, aren't they? They're difficult. Yeah. They're a difficult thing to. What's the most famous anthology film? Do you think? Creepshow, maybe.
Yeah.
I can't think of another one that's probably more famous than that.
Was VHS an anthology film?
Yes, I think so.
I think I saw that a long time ago.
But they're always very different. I don't even really like Creepshow. They're all very different, very difficult to grasp because it's like you just get into one and then it finishes and you're just like, oh, I've got to start another film now. Then I've got to start another film now. It's really difficult to relax into watching them. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
sure,
you can't like chill out and just watch them because you're constantly on edge waiting for the next one to start. It took me ages to watch this film.
See, I thought it went fairly quickly because I did just segment them off like I'm watching 8 little films.
Yeah, I think I kept pausing them at the beginning of each one to like write some notes about who the director was and everything.
Yeah,
and it took me like 2.5 hours to get through it.
Yeah,
it's like I was like 11:30 last night. I was like, Jesus Christ, I need to go to bed. There's still 2 left.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, it's going to be difficult to judge this because it is it's so different to anything else. But I'm just going to have to go for it on. What was my overall enjoyment of this? A couple of them I really liked, a couple of average ones, and then the rest, didn't really do anything for me at all. Real mixed bag.
So shall we run through?
Would you recommend it?
Yeah, I think so. To the right person. There's people out there that will not enjoy this, and there's people out there who think I'm fucking mental for recommending it to them. But there's people out there that would like it.
I think it's quite an interesting way to spend a couple of hours. You like I say, you're never more than a few minutes away from the next one. And there are a couple of good segments.
Even if you just got to spare 10 minutes, you could just chuck one of them on, I suppose.
That's true.
But yeah, I think I would. There's people I know that would like it. There's people I know that would think I was weird for recommending it. Shall we run through what we thought of them in order?
Yeah, sure.
Because we've both made like a mini stream table of them, so we'll see how we compare. Should we just abandon the trivia quiz for this week?
Yeah,
just do this instead because we're running quite long. We're running quite long now. So what did you have in 8th?
So we go 8 to 1.
Yeah,
so
we're running from bottom to top.
So in 8th, I had. So this will be quite interesting actually because we'll see how wrong you are. Because obviously my order is the correct order.
Okay.
So in 8th, I've got Halloween.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I put Mother's Day.
Okay.
I really didn't enjoy that one at all. I just didn't get it. She deserves to be at the bottom of my stream table again.
No, I've got Halloween because it was just unpleasant.
Yeah, fair play. That's actually my 7th.
Okay.
So what was your 7th?
In 7th, I have got St. Patrick's Day.
That's my next one.
So you've got St. Patrick's Day in 6th?
Yes.
Well, I've got Mother's Day in 6th, so we've got the same 3.
We're almost there, yeah. We've got the same 3 out of them. So top 5s might match. So what did you have at 5?
At 5th, I've got Valentine's.
Me too. Yeah, I thought that was mediocre, and I thought the 4 remaining were better.
Yeah, it was just middle of the road, wasn't it?
Yeah. 4th?
Easter.
Me too. Yep, I agree with that. It's not as good as the other 3. 3rd?
New Year's Eve.
Oh, I've gone Christmas.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I didn't think... Yeah, I'll talk about why I've done that in a minute. 2nd?
Father's Day.
I've got Father's Day at 2nd, and I put New Year's Eve at number 1.
I've got Christmas as number 1.
So we've just got them 2 the other way around. So we were quite close. Very similar order. New Year's Eve just kind of stuck with me. I thought it was quite good. Maybe it was because it was the last one. I thought it was really entertaining.
It was. It was.
I'd quite easily have any of those three at number one. Those three were the best three by far.
Yeah.
By far. The Father's Day was just a little... The ending ruined it slightly.
Father's Day was the best concept. It was the most suspenseful. The ending was awful.
Yeah.
I had to give it to Christmas because, as I say, I think it was the best little package
from start to finish. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, I enjoyed New Year's Eve because I thought it was quite fun. It was funny.
Yeah, it was. It was
excellent. I suppose we need to put it into our own stream table now, though.
We should do that. Yeah,
as a film, which is going to be difficult, I think. Do you want me to run through from top to bottom?
Yeah, go for it.
I'll run from bottom to top.
Okay.
8 is Deadly Detention. 7 is Thoroughbreds. 6 is Ark. 5 is Take Me. 4 is Mute. 3 is Peelers. 2 is First Match. And Bad Day for the Cut is still in at number 1. Where's this one go, Nick? It's really difficult because they almost need to go in there individually, but that's not happening.
Yeah, we're not doing that. So let's take it as a whole experience. This seems really low.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to have to... My suggestion would be it goes just below Ark.
And above Thoroughbreds.
Yeah.
So between Ark, that's exactly where I had it.
Oh, okay.
That's exactly where I was just thinking as well. Yeah, I think it has to go there. It isn't a better film than Ark. And I didn't really like Ark, but...
I thought you'd put it above Ark, you see. That's why I wasn't sure.
There's just there's not enough of them that are good.
No, exactly.
So if there would have been like 1 or 2 more good ones, there's only like 3.5 good ones. If you go New Year's Eve, Father's Day, Christmas, Valentine's Day is all right. The rest of them are not that great. Easter's all right. So there's 4 good ones out of 8. But that's only half a good film.
Yeah. So, that's what? Just under an hour and...
yeah. Yeah,
50 minutes or whatever.
I might see the argument of it going above Ark, but I'm happily to put it between Ark and Thoroughbreds.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, it's better than Thoroughbreds, so that's just boring.
I don't know if it's better. I enjoyed it more.
Yeah, it's better. Okay, we'll put it there then. So it goes into 7th.
Deal.
Right, that leaves us to pick next week's film.
Yeah, I've got a good feeling. Let's get something good.
What are you hoping to get?
Something fun, wacky,
something wacky.
Stupid.
Wacky.
Yeah.
Wacky and stupid. We've not had a good relationship with wacky and stupid before. Right, I'm going to press the button. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I've picked a film called Fast Colour.
Awesome.
Any ideas?
None whatsoever.
Do you want to have a guess at what it's about?
I think Fast Colour is a biopic about the guy who invented all those colour run races that you see everywhere all the time now. So, you know, when people go and do a fun run and people just lob a load of coloured, starchy powder at them.
Yeah.
It's that. It's the biopic of him.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, 100%.
It's not.
No.
Do you want to know what it is?
Yes, please.
The synopsis says, after years in hiding, a woman is forced to go on the run when her superhuman abilities are discovered. Years after having abandoned her family, the only place she has left to hide is home.
Okay.
Sounds interesting.
We're not done superheroes very much, I don't think.
It's classed as a drama sci-fi thriller. 6.6 out of 10 on IMDb. So if there's anybody worth mentioning in it. Not on first glance. I'm sure there will be by the time when I have a proper look. So yeah, go out and check out Fast Colour.
Excellent.
We'll come next week and talk about it.
I'm excited.
Me too. Bye.
Cheers. I'm so hot.